Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching Tesla Time News.
Episode 240
on Now You Know.
We're brought to you, as always, by our amazing Patreon patrons. We just had a live stream this past weekend where we were talking with some of our patrons. It was really nice to have, kind of a face-to-face conversation with them. There's lots of other great perks over on Patreon, so if you want some perks, you can head over there and help support the show. This week's episode is sponsored by Blinkist.
Yeah, we just listened to Free to Focus by Michael Hyatt.
Blinkist lets you read or listen to short blinks of over 3,000 nonfiction books, giving you the best insight in just 15 minutes or less.
Yeah, kind of funny that I could blink Free to Focus, which not only had some great tips on how to focus, but also because I listened to it podcast style, Blinkist freed up hours of my time that I could then spend focusing on more productive tasks.
You're a productivity machine.
Yeah. I think the reason I like Blinkist most is the motivational aspect.
What do you mean?
Well, you know that inspiration you get while you're reading a book, and in this case, with Free to Focus, I was inspired to start a not-to-do list and declutter my desk. But normally, if I'm reading in bed at night, I fall asleep before I can actually put these things into practice.
I see. So by listening to short blinks in the morning, you can get that burst of motivation and start putting ideas into action. So that's why you were cleaning up your desk the other day.
Exactly. And Blinkist offers full-length audiobooks as well. Premium subscribers get special member pricing up to 65% off the regular retail price.
And Blinkist has 14 million active users.
14 million people get it. Blinkist enhances books and actually exposes me to more of them.
The first 100 people to use our link are going to get unlimited access for 1 week to try out Blinkist.
You'll also get 25% off if you want to try the full membership.
And the 7-day trial is completely free. You can cancel at any time during that period.
And we're sponsored by BigBattery.com with the best battery prices in the USA guaranteed. If you've got something you need to power, from homes to cars, RVs to boats, and much more, BigBattery.com has you covered, offering the newest battery tech. Use the code NOWYOUKNOW to save 5% off your purchase today at BigBattery.com. And we have some big news to tell you. Jesse and I have been working on this for months, but we can't tell you.
So we can't tell them about what now?
Yeah, no, you can't tell them. This is exclusive for the Now You Know Investor Club members only.
Wait, so we can't tell them about the...
No, you can't say any of that. If you want to know about this opportunity, you have to be a Now You Know Investor Club member. We just put the post up on Patreon, and it'll only be there for a few days. So go there now. It's time sensitive and very important.
Wait, so I can't even tell them about...
No, you can't tell them that either. It's super exciting, and I know you want to tell everyone, but it's for our Now You Know Investor Club members only. So go check out the post on Patreon. All right, check this out. This could be possibly the most mind-blowing video I've ever seen. This is a video from one of Elon's companies, one of his newest companies, I might add, Neuralink. Now, what you're seeing here, and I urge you guys to go see the full video because it's awesome, is you're seeing this monkey named Pager, and he is learning to play this game. It's you locate things on the screen, and he's moving that joystick around, and if he gets it right, he gets a little bit of banana smoothie through the straw.
That's so cute. Oh, so they taught a monkey how to play a video game. Well, I thought there's some kind of a brain company. Are they just making monkeys smarter? What's the deal?
Well, he's actually got the Neuralink chip in his brain right now as we're watching him. In fact, you can kind of see where they shaved his head to put that in 6 weeks ago. So it's been in for 6 weeks.
Okay.
And they're having him play that game. And as he moves the joystick, he's thinking about, right, where his hand's going. So what happens in this next scene here is, look, he's moving the joystick, but look, the joystick's not plugged in.
So the joystick isn't controlling the thing. So what's controlling it?
His brain. They have Wi-Fi'd into the Neuralink in his brain. The Neuralink controller is reading his brain waves. They have a decoder that basically analyzes the brain waves and figures out, okay, bloop, bloop, bloop must mean up to the left. And so they figured out what he's thinking. Now, he still thinks he's moving it with the joystick, but he's actually just using his brain. And then to show that this is true, let's go ahead to him playing Pong. And if you notice now, there's no joystick at all. He's moving the Pong paddles with his brain.
But even I can't do that. No, so this monkey is doing something that I can't do with my brain.
Right, because he's got a Neuralink inside his brain.
Wow.
This is incredible. And what this is actually is it's a recruitment video for Neuralink. This has basically been seen by over 4 million people in the first couple days, and they're asking, hey, if you are interested in this kind of topic, you don't even have to have been a brain surgeon before. Come apply.
Now, we've talked about Neuralink a little bit before when Neuralink had their presentation and they had the pigs come out, and the pigs each had, one had a Neuralink in there, the other one had it taken out, and, we got to hear the pigs smelling things, but they weren't playing video games. This monkey is playing a video game with its brain.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at this video here, you can see the graphical interface of what, the brain looks like. You can kind of see the correlation of when that Pong paddle goes up, that the graph goes up, and when it goes down, the graph goes down.
Now, you might be saying, well, I don't really want to play Pong with my mind, but if you're someone who doesn't have use of a limb or something like that, being able to think, oh, I would like to move my right arm, the signal is not carrying all the way down to your arm. That's why people can't move some of their limbs, or they don't have those limbs.
Right.
If you were able to move a joystick to move an arm, and then you could tell an arm to move or a robot arm to move,
right,
then all of a sudden you would have a robot arm that could do what an arm does.
Exactly. Yeah, as Elon tweeted out, turns out monkeys love video games and snacks just like us. He went on to say, first Neuralink product will enable someone with paralysis to use a smartphone with their mind faster than someone using thumbs. Later versions will be able to shunt signals from Neuralinks in brain to Neuralinks in body, motor sensory neuron clusters, thus enabling, for example, paraplegics to walk again.
So spinal cord injuries, it's exactly what we were just saying, but instead of needing robot legs, you'd be replacing your spinal cord.
Right.
You'd go wireless.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
He went on to say the device is implanted flush with the skull and charges wirelessly so you look and feel totally normal. And that, to me, is one of the big takeaways from this video. We see a monkey who 6 weeks ago had the brain surgery, is now a happy, healthy monkey. And I think that in itself is amazing because thousands of electrodes were attached to his brain and he's fine.
Yeah.
Lex said, amazing. Early steps in the merger of human consciousness and artificial intelligence. Elon said,
yes.
And this is what Elon's been talking about all along, right? Which is we need to find a way to keep up with the speed of computers. We are just, doing this now or this now. And that's not fast enough. And so now if we can interface, we can talk to computers faster.
Yeah.
As Elon said, soon our monkey will be on Twitch and Discord. Haha. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to look back in history and say, where were you on that day? Because I think this is the signaling of something big.
Now, I know that you can't use your brain to hit the like button, but you can use your mouse or your finger to hit the like button, and we would really appreciate it. It really helps out the show. So just do that for one quick second, and we would really appreciate it.
Maybe Page of the Monkey can do it with his brain. All right, so Elon tweeted out, almost ready with full self-driving beta version 9. Step change improvement is massive, especially for weird corner cases and bad weather. Pure vision, no radar.
No radar? What does that mean?
He doesn't think that we need anything more than the cameras anymore. Owen says, does this mean you can remove the radar from production, or will it still be included as a backup?
And Elon said, remove. Hang on. They've had radar in the car since the beginning, and they
use it.
Used it.
And are using
it. And now they're going to not use it?
But with version 9, I think he doesn't need it. Now, my first questions were, okay, but how about at night? How about in the rain? How about in the fog? But you had a good point about this.
Yeah. So the way that a radar system works is you're sending out a radio signal, powerful one, and you're hoping to get something to bounce back. You kind of think of it as like a flashlight, but the problem is you aren't able to see any shapes or anything like that. You're just able to see kind of like brightness and when the signal comes back. So kind of like sonar where you go like, boom, boom, and you're able to be like, oh, the Russian submarine is, 600 meters away.
Right.
In this case, you're using radar signals, so it all happens a lot faster. But you're able to measure the time difference, and that tells you how far away whatever it is. But you don't know what that thing is.
Right.
You can only tell like, oh, that's really bright, or oh, there's a dim thing, but it was really close, so maybe it was a can. But certain objects are going to reflect radio waves in different ways,
Right.
and since you can't tell what the shape of that thing is, well, then you don't really know what is bouncing off of. And that, I think, is why we're getting a lot of phantom braking, because the radar is picking up, say, like a manhole cover, and the manhole cover looks like lighting up like a Christmas tree on the radar, and it's getting closer because it's not moving, and you are moving, and the car goes, oh, crap, we're going to hit something that
Right.
the cameras clearly don't see, but it's just a manhole cover, you drive straight over it. So there's no resolution with a radar.
Right.
Here's the thing with the cameras. The cameras, if you take a picture on your smartphone or something, there are filters in front of the camera lens that are blocking photons of certain wavelengths because you don't really know what ultraviolet looks like. So if your phone took a picture and it had all this ultraviolet light going into the picture, you'd be like, why does this flower look so weird?
Right.
So you usually throw that away for the sake of looking friendly to human eyes, but you're throwing away information.
Exactly. And that's a really good point because it's throwing away, for instance, infrared information, which would help you see better at night.
This is a little bit conjecture-y, but the cameras on the Tesla sometimes look kind of weird. Have you ever looked at your backup camera and gone gee, this is so funky looking? It could be that they've done away with those filters. So that way they get a little bit of the infrared spectrum on the lower end and a little bit of the ultraviolet spectrum on the upper end. And what that could do would give you a little bit more night vision. And with the ultraviolet, maybe that could punch through some fog. Another thing with fog, I remember I was driving up a mountain once and we were filming it because we're YouTubers, and it was super foggy because we were driving through a cloud basically. And I couldn't see very far in front of me. The camera could see probably 20 to 30 feet further in front because the camera sees things differently than we do.
Right.
And that was a normal, video camera with all of its filters. So I think that, you could slow down the car just like you do in inclement weather, but it might actually be able to see better than we can.
As Adam Klotz says, the best part is no part, Elon said.
Yep.
And Tesla owners of Austin said, better vehicle with less parts. Will there come a day where we do not need manual seat adjustment buttons? I love how they go in different directions with these tweets. And Elon said,
good point. Next major software rev will do much better with automating wipers, seat heating, and defrost. Probable seat settings just based on occupant mass distribution should be possible.
So we're getting rid of the radar and we're going to get rid of the button on the seat.
All the switches. I don't know how in favor I am of that. I think that people are very particular when it comes to seat adjustment.
I think you just, sit in it and it'll figure itself out.
I'm not saying that you couldn't come up with an optimal strategy, but I think that people do a lot of very suboptimal things, but they like it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, no, I like sitting low so I can't see anything.
So the boring tunnel in Las Vegas at the Las Vegas Convention Center has opened to media, and we're getting our first glimpses of the full experience.
It appears that there are 62 Tesla cars that will transport 4,400 passengers per hour across the campus. The cost of the project came in at just $53 million, including the stations, and was on time.
Now, the speed is currently limited to 35 miles an hour. We all remember hearing that it's going to eventually go to 120 miles an hour. And right now, from what we're hearing, it's still got a safety driver in the car who I think is driving the car.
Yes. And we've got even more coverage of this on the Patreon bonus stories because there's just a lot of stuff to talk about. And we don't really have the bandwidth here on the show because there's plenty more news. Let's keep going.
So in 2019, the Canadian government started offering a $5,000 Canadian incentive for new EVs with a starting price of less than $45,000.
Unfortunately, Model 3s didn't qualify because even the standard range cost too much, coming in at 46,389 Canadian dollars.
Many Canadians learned that you could call Tesla and order a special software-limited low-range Model 3 with a range of only 93 miles or 151 kilometers and no autopilot, but it was only $44,999, just under the $45,000 Canadian limit.
Now Tesla has made that 93-mile range Model 3 an official offering in Canada by listing it on its Canadian website.
This is a great solution. I mean, once you get your range locked in, you just call up Tesla and you're like, can I pay for the software upgrade? And voila, you now have more range and the incentive.
Now, according to Canadian registration records, there were only a few of these low-range Model 3s ever sold, but now that it's officially on the website, I'm betting that this will change. Now, we don't know if you can unlock your battery by paying Tesla money. I assume that you can.
Otherwise, that would suck.
Yeah, it wouldn't be great. The question to me is, it's not an option on the car, which is what the law states. This is like a pretty big loophole. It's a brilliant loophole. I don't think it's what the Canadian government had in mind, but they didn't specify otherwise, and I don't know.
And also, why'd you set it at 45,000?
Right.
It seems very particular.
It was clearly aimed at getting Tesla out. I don't know why so many governments are anti-Tesla when it's one of the best EV offerings that there is. Well, I could tell you my theory on that, which is that the oil industry is lobbying very hard to be like, well, I mean, I just think that your constituents would appreciate that, the rich people don't get the tax incentive, but the poor people do. And of course, the politician doesn't know what EVs are, so they're just like, that does sound fair, you're right.
And how much are you giving to my re-election campaign?
Yeah, so that's kind of where I think it's going. Genius of Tesla to do a political limbo
workaround.
Nice.
So let's refresh our memories here. The Model Y currently only comes in 2 flavors. The long-range all-wheel drive with 326 miles of range for $50,490, and the performance Model Y with 303 miles of range for $60,990.
Last week, the EPA officially completed its range test on a version of the Model Y that you currently can't buy. The standard range rear-wheel drive, which now would officially have 244 miles of range and had a starting price of $42,000.
But Elon did not like that low range, and so this standard range version got pulled after only appearing for about a month on the Tesla website.
So the question is, should Tesla offer the standard range Model Y with 244 miles at $42,000, or is that just not enough range? Like, do we agree with Elon or do we disagree?
Personally, I'm torn. I mean, I agree with Elon that 244 miles is not great. It's what I currently have with Sparky, my Model X. And I mean, it's fine, but for a brand new car, I think he's right. You should aim for a higher range. But on the other hand, a starting price of $8,000 cheaper would mean that so many more families could afford it. So I am really torn.
Yeah, I mean, there is a question in terms of like, well, most commutes are only, 15 to 30 miles. So this would definitely cover that. And then you plug in it at home. I think that the problem is, if that's your argument, then we shouldn't have ever moved past the Nissan Leaf, like the 2012 version, because that has just that amount of range. If you're going to get that technical, yeah, of course, then lots of, golf carts would get pretty close.
Right.
I think that most people do not use cars simply to drive to work and to drive home. There's picking up the kids from the soccer game, and then, oh, can you go down to the grocery store? Or we need to take a bunch of stuff from one place and move it to another, and it's going to take 3 trips. And if you don't have the range to accomplish that, it's a sticking point for you. It's going to be something where you might not even be thinking about it as you're purchasing the standard range Model Y, but it's going to either clog up superchargers or it's going to lead to unhappy customers. And right now, Tesla has mostly happy customers.
Yeah, this would be one of the most efficient e-SUVs on the market with 129 miles per gallon equivalent. So that's another argument for selling it. Well, we put it to our Patreons on the Patreon poll, and I guess we'll find out the answer later in the show.
Yeah.
In January, the Made in China version of the Model 3 got a new interior door trim. See that trim there that matches the dash? Well, now it appears that update has now made it to the US-made Model 3s. And speaking of Model 3s, Tesla has changed the price of the Model 3 and the Model Y again.
Now, this is the 4th price change in about 4 months for the Model 3.
Yeah. For the Model 3, here we have it. The standard range plus price went from $37,990 to $38,490, so up $500. The long range all-wheel drive price went from $46,990 to $47,490, so up $500. And the performance went up $1,000 to $56,990.
And the Model Y long-range all-wheel drive went from $49,990 to $54,990. The Model Y performance stayed the same at $69,990. So I wonder if Tesla is slowly raising the prices in anticipation of the federal EV incentives, which should be hopefully coming back.
I mean, with most auto dealers, the public doesn't get to see these price changes.
That's right.
Who said that?
Oh, looks like Vinny is back.
Yeah, I'm back. And I got a little public service announcement for Mr. Tesla. You guys gonna give me a minute? Or am I gonna have to send little Tony over to the studio?
Yeah, no, I think we have a minute for you, Vinny.
Great. I knew you guys would see it my way. Hey, Mr. Tesla, your trusted automotive advisor here, Vinny Bamboozolini, here with some free tips on how to sell cars. Mr. Tesla, I think you guys have been making a big mistake having a website with all the prices and information. I thought you guys were supposed to be smart. Learn from the wise guys at Vinny Bamboozolini's Auto Dealership Empire. Lesson number 1. No websites. Hide the price. Lesson number 2. You want to find out the price of the car? You got to come down and sit in the waiting room for a while, watch some CNN, some daytime soaps, while we wear you down by bringing you into the back office with warranty offers and test rides and models you're not interested in. Then, when you're good and tired, we start negotiating. And that leads us to lesson number 3. A different price for different people. We're all different, Mr. Tesla. Don't you know that by now? Everybody's special. So everybody should get a special different price. And another thing, why are you selling cars with no gas? What, are you stupid or something? Everybody knows that gas is the best. It even smells good. And gas is great for cleaning things up and making them shiny. Just rub a little gasoline on something, like the Combustor 9000, and bada bing, shiny like new.
Okay, Vinny, thanks for the PSA.
Yeah, we didn't agree to one of your car commercials.
Great tips, though. I'm sure Mr. Tesla is going to appreciate them. So we all know that the Biden administration is pro-EV, and we've reported on proposed legislation that could bring back a federal tax credit of around $7,000 for new EVs, even for car companies like Tesla and GM that have already sold more than 200,000 EVs.
Now we're hearing tidbits, rumors, that the Biden administration's new massive infrastructure plan, which contains $174 billion investment in electrification and has plans for 500,000 new EV charging stations, could also contain legislation for an even bigger EV tax credit.
Wedbush analyst Dan Ives, who is one of the highest-rated analysts in the EV space, said, "We are hearing from our contacts in the Beltway that $7,500 tax credit could potentially be $10,000 in terms of a credit, and that's going to be a massive catalyst, not just for Tesla, but for the EV ecosystem in the US. Now, this could be huge because we're hearing that not only could it be a tax credit, it might be a rebate that you get right at the dealer.
And that is huge because that immediately knocks down the price of the car. So for instance, when I bought my Model 3, I got the $7,500 tax credit federal. I also got a rebate, a Massachusetts rebate, but the rebate took some time to get, and the tax credit was filed through my taxes, and I had to make enough money to actually get the full tax credit. I think I missed out on a couple bucks there. So it really matters that you could get this rebate, at the place where you're picking up the car at that moment, because there were a couple months there where I kind of overspent on my car, and I was looking at my bank account every month just going like, oh, as I was waiting for this refund check to come in. And then it came in and I was like, oh, thank goodness, everything went according to plan. But yeah, it felt really scary to have to be like betting on the federal government giving me money, which at the time was uncommon.
Yeah, I agree. Much better to let the car dealer or Tesla deal with that paperwork and you just get the cheaper price at the showroom.
And I mean, just think about $10,000 off federal. I mean, there are some states that also have incentives. A Model 3 could be one of the most affordable cars you could buy.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's going to be a game changer if this really happens. And I think that this is part of floating the balloon, so to speak, so that legislators are now waiting to hear, like, is there a lot of pushback? So this is actually one of those periods of time where you have a lot of power. If you were to write your Congress people right now and say to them, yes, I heard about this, I'm in favor of it, then that's what they're going to go back to their colleagues in Capitol Hill and make law. Now, I should mention also that Dan Ives has a bull case price target for Tesla at $1,300 a share.
And, obviously we have been bullish on Tesla for a very long time.
We're not financial advisors.
So please do not, take this as financial advice. We're not that. Do your own research.
And if you'd like to share the story with your friends, head on over to the Now You Know Clips channel, where we've chopped it up into a bite-sized, manageable piece that you can share with your friends and family, and it won't take an hour to tell them about it. Well, check this out. Our favorite EV trip planner is now built into the Polestar 2.
What?
Yeah. A Better Route Planner, our favorite EV trip planner, is now built into the Polestar.
So, like, built in meaning you can just click it on the screen?
Yeah.
And it's connected up to your car?
Yeah. Check this out. Polestar said, following feedback from Polestar 2 owners, Polestar 2 now features the A Better Route Planner app in its Android automotive-based infotainment system. The new app was developed by the creator of A Better Route Planner and brings its revered EV route planning capabilities directly into the car. Highly favored by EV drivers, the app allows for specific route planning that takes additional factors into account, in addition to the parameters available from the car itself, like state of charge and energy consumption. Other factors that influence range, like vehicle load and whether the car is fitted with a roof box or trailer, can also be accounted for. The results allow Polestar 2 drivers to effectively plan their charging requirements with greater accuracy along a chosen route. In Polestar 2, the routing can also be transferred to Google Maps, allowing the driver to continue to benefit from the integrated navigation system in the car.
Hang on. The Polestar 2 has a feature that Tesla doesn't have.
Yeah, because one thing, if you don't know about A Better Route Planner, is they can do waypoints. And I think this is a super important thing, because think about it. How many times you get into the car and you're like, oh, I got to go there. Oh, but you know what? First, I got to go there. So I guess I can only tell the car to go there.
Right, because with Tesla, you can only say, hey, I want to go to this place. You can't say, hey, first I'm going to grandma's house, then we're going to go visit my aunt, then we're going to go to the grocery store, and then I want to go home. How do I do that and charge? And the car is just going to be like, do you want to go to grandma's house? And you're like, yes, but then I'm going to need to do a bunch of other stuff and then come back. And it's like, we can go to grandma's house. And you're like, no. I need to know the whole plan. So yeah, waypoints in the Polestar 2, along with all this other stuff. Because I mean, when we were planning our trip, pulling a trailer in the Model X, we had to kind of
like napkins and stuff, right?
Actually, we were using a Better Route Planner,
right?
And it was particularly accurate.
It really was.
Once we entered in our consumption numbers, but this could be updated through the car, and it could just be like, oh, it looks like you have a parachute hanging out the back of your Polestar 2.
That would have been nice to have.
You're going to need to do more charging.
Bo Lincoln, the founder of Better Route Planner, said, we're super excited to work with Polestar and their Android automotive platform, which enables innovation from small companies to get directly into the hands of drivers in their own vehicles. Our EV planning has been asked for by a lot of Polestar drivers, and now they get a full solution, including live data from the vehicle with the click of a button.
So, moretesla.com. Can we petition Tesla to get a Better Route Planner in their cars?
Yeah.
And all of the other cars. I mean, I was in the Ford Mach-E the other day. If I had a Better Route Planner, I would feel a lot better about driving that car.
Yeah.
So Tesla has released a new recruitment video featuring Tesla's chief designer, Franz von Holzhausen. And let's check it out.
So Franz said, who did this? What is he talking about?
Essentially, they're looking for a lead designer for China.
Oh, okay. So that makes sense. The job description says, as a leader at Tesla's China design studio, you will be responsible for leading the design development of Tesla vehicles. You'll be part of the team that creates and executes world-class vehicles in terms of form, function, and luxury. Using your considerable production design experience and innovative thinking, you'll be responsible for leading a team of design studio professionals in creating future products. Our design team prides itself on being multi-talented and flexible, and we look for the same in our potential candidates.
So this is super smart. Not only are they going to recruit a person who is hopefully going to be a great lead designer, but the marketing of it is fantastic because they're branding Tesla as like hip and cool, which they're very good at doing, especially in China. Their marketing in China, I think, really appeals to the Chinese public, which is very smart. You have Franz in there going like, whoa, it captures that imagination. But now I have a question. They want a lead designer in China to design, I'm assuming, a vehicle. Is that going to be a vehicle that's only built and sold in China?
I hope that if that vehicle is super cool and it transcends country borders and it's like, because, you know, sometimes there's just design that's just classic around the world. If they can do that and start offering that Chinese design vehicle in Europe and in America, then Tesla will transcend, I think, any brand we've ever seen before. Because normally it's like, this is an Italian car. This is a German car.
Right. Or this is an American car designed and made in America.
Right.
And if it's like, yeah, we're a global car company.
Right.
You know, and they're going to do the exact same thing in Germany.
Right.
So they're going to have a German designed car.
Right.
Now, I think Elon has said before that it would be like a German car designed for the German market, but there's no reason on earth why they couldn't have it also be in the United States.
Right. And imagine the pride that the Chinese people or the German people would feel if now their designs are being exported to the rest of the world. It would make Tesla a world company.
And it's never happened before. Like there has never been a car company, to my knowledge, where they don't design the car where the company is based.
Right.
Like BMW has never been like, and this car is designed in the United States. It's always just like designed in Stuttgart.
Right.
You know? And so it's great if you're like, wow, German engineering is so smart. But you never are like, oh, wow, they they're all over the place. They're doing everything.
So when it comes to upcoming electric pickup trucks to look forward to, we've got the Rivian R1T coming in June, hopefully, the Lordstown Endurance, which is supposedly coming in September, the Tesla Cybertruck, which is coming maybe as soon as December, the GMC Hummer pickup truck, which will come at some point probably in 2022, 2023. Well, now there's another electric pickup truck entering the fray. GM's president Mark Roos announced last week that there will be a Silverado-ish electric pickup truck coming with 400 miles of range.
Roos said the vehicles coming from Factory Zero will change the world and how the world views electric vehicles. The Hummer EV SUV joins its stablemate in the realm of true supertrucks. And Chevrolet will take everything Chevy's loyal truck buyers love about Silverado and more, and put it into an electric pickup that will delight retail and commercial customers alike. Chevrolet BET Truck, which will be the brand's first electric full-size pickup, offering 400 plus miles of range on a single charge.
Now, this will be built using the Ultium battery and drivetrain. There's been no timeline announced, but Royce did say the pickup truck will feature innovations that you can't even imagine.
Wow. I mean, I'm trying to...
No, don't try. You can't imagine them.
I'm trying to imagine them,
That's why you're not coming up with anything, because you can't.
I can't
You
imagine
can't.
them.
Nope.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
How did they make it if they couldn't even imagine it?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah.
It's unimaginable.
Unbelievable.
And GM revealed the specs, prices, and timeline for the Hummer EV SUV, which is similar to the Hummer pickup truck. So take a look at this chart here, which shows you the timeline and the prices and some of the specs. Here's some takeaways for me. First, it's going to take a while, right? We're not going to see anything till 2023, even the expensive $110,000 vehicle.
Right.
Secondly, question, I guess, won't the Rivian R1S be nicely in place by the time this comes out?
Yeah. And the Rivian charging network will also be in place, so they'll have like a double redundant charging network in addition to this. So then why would I pay more for a Hummer?
Because, right, the starting price is pretty high. I mean, forget the 110,000.
Yeah.
Let's go all the way down to the lowest starting price version, which is going to be $80,000. That won't come out till 2024, and Rivian will already have been around for a couple of years. The range, when you get down to that $80,000 price vehicle, which, come on, that's the one most of us are going to be able to afford, if at all, that's 250 miles plus. Again, that's too low for an SUV, in my opinion. And then, what's the charging speed going to be on that $80,000 version? Because it's only a 400 volt architecture, whereas all the other more expensive versions were 800 volt, which I assume gives you better charging speed.
Yeah. Why differentiate that? And then is it going to materially affect charging speed? I mean, Teslas are at 400 volts. So keep that in mind. You can definitely do at least like 250
Yes, but this will be 3 years from now.
Right. And the range is so much lower, then that means that you have a smaller battery, and that means that you're maybe not going to charge that much, although it will probably be very inefficient. So maybe the battery's bigger. Like, who knows? And we won't know for 3 years at the bare minimum. It's like, that's kind of annoying, especially when we're having trucks coming out this year.
Yeah.
So Tesla white hat hacker Green the Only has discovered and shared the Tesla driver-facing camera and what the Tesla computer is capable of doing with that footage in real time.
Yeah, look at the upper left where the software is keeping track of whether the driver is, say, using a phone, or wearing sunglasses, or looking down, or has their eyes closed.
Yeah, and so basically it's an ordered list. The most likely thing is up at the top, and the number is like the likelihood of that particular thing happening.
Okay, so hang on. This is amazing, but does this mean that Tesla is watching our every move?
No. So this is a statement released from Tesla in China last week.
Recently, there's been a discussion on the internet about Tesla monitors the owners through the camera in the car. In order to eliminate unnecessary misunderstandings, the following is specifically stated. The vehicles used by Tesla users do not infringe on the privacy of users through the in-vehicle camera. All Tesla user vehicles on the Chinese market have not turned on their in-vehicle cameras, nor are they involved in full self-driving beta testing. Tesla's privacy protection policy complies with national laws and regulations. Like you, Tesla attaches a great importance to the protection of user privacy. We are equipped with a network security system with the world's leading security level to ensure user privacy protection. Thank you again for your attention to Tesla. Now, this does point out something interesting. If you read between the lines there, that means that when you are doing the full self-driving beta, I'm sure there's probably a disclaimer, and it probably says we are going to be using the camera as we saw from Green the Only.
So that means for the vast majority of us, the camera in the car right now is not doing anything and hasn't been doing anything this whole time.
Right.
It does mean that it is plugged in. It is hooked up, but they aren't reading any of the signals. Now,
but it will.
If you're worried and you don't have full self-driving beta, and if you're worried,
I have something I can sell you. It's a high-tech solution. It's called
$400.
Tesla tape.
We will be taking the bidding will begin in a few minutes. Yeah, no, you just put a piece of tape over it if you're worried about it.
But I mean, when full self-driving beta does come, and full self-driving in general, yeah, the camera's going to be a very important part of that because it is going to be monitoring the driver.
And as Consumer Reports was so very worried about, they don't do any driver monitoring aside from the steering wheel. They have the camera set up for it. When the car can do more autonomous driving, it will do that.
Yeah.
So
thank you to Hacker Green.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise we would have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. So we reported on Beta Technologies a couple weeks ago. They are the Vermont-based electric VTOL company, and that stands for Vertical Takeoff and Landing Airplane Startup.
And they're developing this, the Alea, which can carry 1,400 pounds of cargo, has a 250-mile range, and can cruise at speeds of up to 170 miles an hour.
Well, that caught the interest of UPS, which just announced an order for 10 to be delivered by 2024 with an option for a total of 150. UPS said the Beta aircraft's 1,400-pound cargo capacity is ideally suited to more quickly and sustainably transport time-sensitive deliveries that would otherwise fly on small fixed-wing aircraft. UPS's use of the aircraft will benefit healthcare providers, thousands of small and medium-sized businesses, and other companies in smaller communities. With a 250-mile range and cruising speed of 170 miles an hour, UPS will be able to plan a series of short routes or one long route on a single charge to meet customers' needs. UPS has also reserved Beta's recharging station for a seamless and fully integrated electric aviation system. The Beta charging station helps ensure safe and rapid charging of the aircraft in under 1 hour and facilitates a quick turn for the loading and unloading of cargo. The charging station also offers the aircraft's batteries a second life cycle.
This is pretty cool. Basically, UPS already has a ton of infrastructure, when you're tracking your package or whatever, and it's like, it has arrived at a certain facility. So they have these facilities all over the place. Imagine if you can fly a plane from the facility without having to build a runway. Mm-hmm. You just and now the thing is over there.
Yeah.
For time-sensitive stuff, I mean, we could be talking about organs. We could be talking about other, goods or whatever.
And vaccines.
Yeah. Being able to fly stuff that needs to get places quick, all electrically, is huge.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about this technology. So Tesla has been busy building some big supercharger stations. We've reported on the 56-stall supercharger location in Fireball, California, and the 72-stall station in Shanghai, China.
Although we should note that in China, those are only 150 kilowatt chargers.
Well, how about 100?
What?
Yep, that's right. Tesla announced that they're going to be adding another 82 charging stations to the Harris Ranch, California supercharger, adding to the 18 already there.
The Harris Ranch Inn and Restaurant announced, "We are excited to announce that Tesla has applied for the construction of the world's largest supercharger, which could consist of more than 100 stalls and be located right here at Harris Ranch in Coalinga, California."
And yes, these will be 250 kilowatt superchargers.
Now, if you're not familiar with the area, you might be like, why do they need 100 charging stalls in the middle of California?
Right.
Well, look at this map. It's right on the 5 freeway, and anyone who's ever traveled in California knows that's pretty much the main artery up and down the state, and it's halfway between San Francisco and Los Angeles.
So a lot of Tesla owners probably need to supercharge right around there, and having a huge supercharger location is pretty great.
And speaking of superchargers in California, Tesla owners in California have been receiving this in-app notification in the past few days.
Avoid the rush and save 50% on your charging fees before 10 a.m. and after 7 p.m. at all superchargers in California's major metro areas. For specific rates and eligible sites, tap the supercharger map pin on your in-car touchscreen.
You might be saying, well, Tesla has over 20,000 supercharger stalls, but this is a constant balancing act, right? Between building more, which costs money, and maximizing the ones that you've already built, making sure that they're being used effectively. So if you incentivize Tesla owners to charge off-peak, that's super smart.
Yeah, I mean, this frees up the superchargers during peak hours, and Tesla can pass on their own cost savings from lower priced electricity to owners. So it's a big win-win.
Yeah. All right, it's time for an update from our buddy Jeff over at Gigafactory, Texas.
Hey, Zach and Jesse, it's Jeff Roberts reporting here at Giga, Texas, and it is Monday, April 12th, 2021, and it's time for another update. Let's go! Since our last update, we now have temporary lights in most of the structure. A lot of insulation has gone on rooftops and walls. We've got a second Gigapress on its way in to add to the first, which has been testing its furnace using these LNG tanks. Steel structure went vertical in the battery cell area last week. The paint shop has all 5 colors in clear coat boxes from Dur Systems installed. Stamping machines have arrived and made their way into the stamping building, and we continue to see the west steel structure grow southward to expand the general assembly areas of the plant. We're also monitoring a large swath of land being cleared and excavated to the west of the 130 that may be for SpaceX, perhaps Starlink, and we've got the recently started cathode area underway to the east of the new 1,000 space parking lot. Additionally, we're running sewage using pipes spun on the property, the switch yard is getting hooked to the grid, and natural gas lines are being plumbed into the northeast section of the building. There's literally way too much going on at Giga Texas to put into this segment. Well, I hope you enjoyed that Giga Texas update. If you want more content on Giga Texas, check out the Quad Squad channels at the links in the description below. And if you want daily updates of Giga Texas progress, be sure to check out my Jeff Roberts channel, also link in the description below. Thanks for watching, and now you know. Back to you, Zach and Jesse.
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah.
There's so much going on.
Yes.
Jeff, how do you keep up with all that?
I know. I mean, there's probably a guy who works for Tesla who is like, oh, what are those guys doing? And then he's going over to Jeff's video and being like, oh, thank goodness that they are doing what I want.
Seriously, I think you're right. There's so much great coverage from the Quad Squad that I'll bet they're using that coverage sometimes to check on things. Like, let's go over to the south wall and say, oh, okay, that's what's going on. Yeah, great job, guys.
Oh, it's so exciting.
All right, our buddy Eli is here again with us for the latest Starman Report, and there's something about space lasers.
Welcome back to the Starman Report. There's been some exciting developments this week, so let's jump right in. NASA's Ingenuity helicopter survived its first night all alone on the surface of Mars. This was an important preparation test because temperatures on Mars can reach minus 130 degrees, which is enough to damage Ingenuity's battery and electrical components. To be able to survive on its own without the protection of the Perseverance rover, Ingenuity had to rely on its own battery and solar panels to keep it from freezing. So NASA has the first flight scheduled of the helicopter for 3:30 in the morning Eastern Daylight Time. So by the time this video is up on Monday morning, hopefully the first test flight has been successful. It's strange to me that how the fact that a person not being involved in the flight makes it seem less exciting, but it most definitely is. And we now live in an era of technology where all flights on the planet Mars are likely to be conducted autonomously. And that's because, quite frankly, software is now capable and can handle more complicated situations than a human pilot ever could. We've seen this evolution start to unfold already with the SpaceX Crew Dragon. When you compare its control system to the Space Shuttle, which had an unbelievable number of manual switches, versus Crew Dragon, which is controlled by just a few touchscreen monitors. So speaking of the Space Shuttle, although the NASA Space Shuttle program ended over 10 years ago, there's a much smaller unmanned version that's in operation today. It's called the X-35B spaceplane. Very little is known about this vehicle because it's primarily running clandestine missions to test top secret technology for the US Air Force and other government agencies. However, this week we got to learn a little bit about one of the technologies that's being tested, and it's pretty cool. So they're testing out space lasers. Well, sort of. They are running experiments on technology that's aimed at transforming solar power into radio frequency microwave energy. So the hardware is called PRAM-FX, and it's basically a 12-inch square tile that collects solar energy and then converts it into RF power. So in the recent test, they achieved about an 8% conversion efficiency. So to compare this to something you're familiar with, the solar panels on your home that converts solar to electric energy does so at about an efficiency of 20%. Keep in mind that solar electrical conversion has much more benefits of economies of scale and many, many more decades of development. So pulling off this solar to RF energy beam in space is actually relatively simple, but the real goal, and this is where it gets really exciting, is to absorb the sun's energy and broadcast that power back down to Earth as microwave radiation, so on Earth it can be converted into usable electrical energy. So we know Starlink is already delivering space internet, might eventually we be signing up for star power to provide energy to our homes? Well, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to having you back for more of the most exciting news in space.
Wow, thank you so much, Eli. A lot of exciting space stuff happening.
Yeah, check out Eli's channel, The Starman Report, for more great space news. All right, it's time for Going Green, and we're sponsored by EcoWear, and we're doing a sale on all the summer items because summer is coming. You get 15% off all the bathing suits, the tank tops, the towels, the shorts, the flip-flops, so head on over there. And remember, we carbon offset the manufacturing, the shipping, the life cycle of your purchase. We plant a tree for every order, so it's carbon negative.
So when you think of electric vehicles, you don't also generally think of ice hockey, but maybe you should.
XL Fleet has announced that they will be creating one of the largest EV charging sites in the U.S. by installing 1,000 EV charging stations at the UBS Arena in New York City's Queens borough.
Okay, but what does this have to do with hockey?
Well, the 43-acre UBS Arena site is being built now, and it's going to be the home of the New York Islanders National Hockey League team. These chargers will be available for fleets of vehicles from companies like Verizon and Coca-Cola, and this site is also a great location because it's located between New York City's two major airports, JFK and LaGuardia.
So wow, 1,000 EV chargers. I mean, I think it's smart that right now they're going to like lease it out to fleets and stuff, but someday you're going to want to go see a hockey game, and having 1,000 chargers, that's going to be pretty nice because I think when it's all EVs, they're going to be the first ones that actually have an EV-friendly parking lot.
And imagine if it's vehicle to grid.
I know. You could probably power the arena.
Yeah. All right, it's time for Into the Future. So last week, the Cyberlander was revealed.
Yeah, the Cyberlander will be an automated pop-up camper overlander that fits entirely into the bed of the Cybertruck, so you can drive around all day on any terrain and then park and go to sleep.
Now, Tesla has already shown a camper configuration of their own, right?
Yeah, and we've seen this pop-up tent with the slide-out cooktop, counters, and storage concept from Tesla.
But the Cyberlander goes up, offering a kitchen, bathroom with composting toilet and shower, and an office that turns into a bedroom for 2 adults and 2 kids, slide-out solar panels on the roof, 32-inch TV, 360-degree surveillance system, dimming windows, radiant heat, and a Starlink dish for internet.
Wow. Now, to be honest, we're kind of skeptical after seeing this CGI animation. So we reached out to the founders, and we're going to be bringing you an interview and more information on the channel soon.
Tesla Time News is sponsored by the Cybertruck Owners Club.
There you'll find a crowdsourced reservation tracker that you can update and find your place in line.
Check out their website for Cybertruck news, discussions, and community for Cybertruck enthusiasts and future owners. All right, it's time for Sunspots. We just got some new data from Texas's power grid. Yes, I'm talking about the same grid run by ERCOT that failed recently, except this time it's some good news. Take a look at this chart from ERCOT and the EIA. The x-axis is showing March of each year from 2008 until 2021. The y-axis is the percentage of Texas's total electricity generation, and the bars are showing wind power.
Wait, so 38.6% of Texas electricity in March was produced by wind power?
That's right. And if you add solar, you get 42.4% of Texas's total grid power came from wind and solar, which is bigger than any other source, like natural gas at 30% and coal at 14.9%.
And there's more than 12,000 megawatts of solar and 35,000 megawatts of wind being added in Texas this year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But the title of this story is Texas and UK Power?
Okay, yeah, I almost forgot. Last Monday in the United Kingdom, wind power provided 39% of UK's electricity and solar produced 21%. So yeah, if you add those up, you get 60% of UK's power came from wind and solar. Nuclear made 16% and natural gas made 10%.
What about coal?
Coal generated nada that day. Nothing. Fintan Sly, the director at National Grid ESO, said this latest record is another example of how the grid continues to transform at an astonishing rate as we move away from fossil fuel generation and harness the growth of renewable power sources. It's an exciting time, and the progress we're seeing with these records underlines the significant strides we're taking towards our ambition of being able to operate the system carbon-free by 2025.
So when you hear someone say, we just can't have wind and solar power on our grid in any meaningful way, you can just point them at Texas and the UK, which are two completely different places. And you could say, oh, really?
And if you'd like to go solar and have solar on the roof of your house, but you're got a lot of questions, well, you can call up our friends at Energy Pal and they will answer them for you all for free.
We'll put the link in the show notes down below and let them know that Zach and Jesse sent you. It helps support the show.
It's time for our video contributor stories this week. What do we got, Jess?
We've got Dan in China. He is the founder of Oberon EV.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. I'm Dan Sparrow, founder and president of Oberon Electrodynamics based in Jiangsu, China. And we manufacture electric vehicles. I want to talk to you and your viewers about the state of the EV industry here in China and some of the amazing technology that we're coming across every day.
We're currently introducing 2 low-speed vehicles in the US and abroad. First shown here is a 5-door mini SUV with a 120-kilometer range. It features air conditioning, heat, power windows, and remote power locks, full touchscreen infotainment system, front disc brakes, and is legally speed limited to 25 miles per hour or 45 km/h. We begin shipping in Asia and Latin America in March and target a US launch date in May to June 2021. This model shown here is an L6E certified or light quadricycle class micro-mobility EV. We're now shipping to Norway, Greece, and Germany. It too features all standard creature comforts, and it's built on a steel space frame with plastic body panels to conserve weight. As we're working with many state-of-the-art design and development companies and manufacturing facilities here in China, we've come across a few surprises, including here the ODM manufacturer for Candy's K27 and K23 models, you'll see in the background. We're working with them for something we're going to export to the US and to Europe in the near future. And for our product line, we are working with graphene and solid-state battery production, hopefully to be integrated into our product mix later in this year. Also want to talk with your viewers about the current state of the EV industry in China, including major brands like Geely, Xpeng, Baojun, Wuling. I drive a Chinese branded EV myself, and I'm going to review my own car in the near future. And I hope to check in with you guys more and discuss everything that's going on here. And now you know.
Whoa, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I want to learn more.
Thank you so much, Dan.
All right, it's time for our Patreon bonus stories, and we're going to show you a harrowing Tesla escape and some more details about the boring tunnel in Las Vegas. All you got to do is head on over to patreon.com/nowyouknow and support us for as little as $1 a month. You get to see all the stories. All right, we're back from the Patreon bonus stories. It's time for the shout-outs. Who do we got this week?
You've got Isaac Law,
Marcos Perez,
Steve Barbosa,
Ken Langley,
Felix,
Steve Carter,
Trevor G. Barber,
Ted Wilkinson,
Mike the Ringman,
Don Carlson,
Danny,
Elvis,
Zach Curry,
Kalista Karchner,
Jeffrey DeFiore,
Paris Taylor,
Magic Steve,
Justin Rossoff,
Much S,
and Robert Johnson.
Thank you so much for supporting us. We can't do this show without you.
All right, it's time for Elon's tweets of the week. And John Carmack said, employee levels in tech are a pretty big deal for compensation and evaluation, but are usually hidden from general view. I wonder if it might work better if they were visible like military ranks, so you knew at a glance something of what should be expected from a person.
Elon said some kind of ELO level, updated once or twice a year based on what someone actually got done, might be most effective. Important that they go both up and down.
Elon tweeted this out at Kathy Wood from ARK Invest. He said, what do you think of the unusually high ratio of S&P market cap to GDP? And Kathy Wood got back and said, GDP statistics evolved during the industrial age and do not seem to be keeping up with the digital age. Thanks to productivity, real GDP growth probably is higher and inflation lower than reported, suggesting that the quality of earnings has increased significantly. She went on to say, companies that did not innovate and instead leveraged up to buy back stock and distribute dividends to satisfy short-term oriented shareholders, including private equity, will pay a steep price. They will have to cut prices to move aging inventory and service debt. Bad deflation. All right, well, I guess he got his answer.
That's so cool. Elon tweeted, thanks Tesla suppliers for supplying us with critical parts. And of course, that was right after we learned of their delivery numbers for Q1. Yeah, so the suppliers definitely helped.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't cancel your orders, you keep getting the parts. Sir Doge of the Coin said, Elon, when you getting a Shibu Inu?
Elon said, looking at pups soon. So this is kind of a Dogecoin thing. That's the Doge of the Dogecoin is that specific dog breed.
Elon tweeted this out, bacteria in nature versus bacteria in the lab.
And this, if you don't know what it means, is because you don't work with the lab-based bacteria. Anyone who does is probably laughing.
And then Elon tweeted out, just read it. Book is accurate. And this is Eric Berger's book called Liftoff, which, by the way, will be our next book club book after we get through the one we're reading now.
Nice.
Owen Sparks tweeted out, does the Boring Company use autopilot in the Vegas loop tunnels?
Elon said it will.
Which means they aren't.
At the moment. I mean, right now it's just for press.
And Pauline said, the beauty of iteration, Starship Mk1 from September 2019, and then on the right is Starship SN9 from January of this year.
Elon said, simulation is improving rendering resolution.
Then Elon tweeted out, where is Shrek 5? Alex Ellis tweeted out this quote from Elon. It says, I'm actually an engineer. I discovered that in order to do the engineering I want to do, I have to have my own company. Otherwise, somebody makes me do something I don't want to do.
Elon said, pretty much.
And Dr. Phil Metzger said, since this Guardian writer has recycled the super uninformed claim of we ought to be spending the money on Earth instead, it is now time to recycle the informed responses. Hardly any money is spent on space. The U.S. spends 4 times as much on tobacco as on space. And Elon said, this is a good thread. And it is. There's a lot of good points in there.
Wow. I mean, 4 times more on tobacco than in space.
Yeah,
so
NASA,
the argument of like, well, we shouldn't be spending it on Earth.
Yeah, NASA,
on tobacco.
NASA spends less than 1% of our budget on
my
yeah.
gosh.
And then blimps rock, I guess.
Okay.
All right, so we had a poll out this week. What was it?
It was, should Tesla come out with the standard range Model Y? It's kind of a contentious poll.
Whoa.
Look at this. So 95 people said yes, they should come out with it because $42,000 is so attractive to buyers. 66 people said no, 244 miles is too low. Buyers might like the price, but they won't like the range. So
wow, this is a tricky one.
I don't know. It is a tricky one.
All right, it's time for community mail time.
Our buddy Michael spotted a Rivian R1T in Schaumburg, Illinois the other day. I wonder why that town name seems so familiar.
Sam shared this post from the Nissan Leaf Owners of USA, and it's so true. Waiting for a Chidemo DC fast charge found on PlugShare for a Leaf during a road trip makes us all think of Matt Damon on Mars.
As a Leaf driver, I can attest to that. A natural gas pipeline leaked in Candiac, Canada recently, forcing people to evacuate their homes. Our viewer Mark was able to get some pictures of the resulting fire.
Wait, what happened?
Yeah, do you see the fire above the truck over there?
And this caused by a natural gas pipeline?
Yeah, it just kind of is exploding behind them.
Okay.
Then he got the shot of the teams of people needed to go turn the gas back on at people's homes after the line was fixed.
Are you serious?
Apparently, each individual house needs to be turned back on after it has been shut off.
How many homes are we talking about?
We're talking about 5,000 homes they went without gas for 3 days.
Can you imagine if I told you that with solar, if something goes wrong, you'll need to turn it all off and it'll take days to have people turn it all back on again?
Yes. So they didn't have gas for 3 days. Now it's, we're lucky. It's April. This happened at the very beginning of April.
Good point.
We're in Canada. What if this happened in the middle of January?
Wow.
You would have been stuck with no gas and had to evacuate your home.
Our friend Kyle sent us this nice note. He said, thank you for influencing me and my family to get solar on the roof in good old sunny California. I discovered your YouTube many years ago and I've tried to watch every episode. I thought I would send some stats on our solar to share. Thank you for all you do. You've saved us a lot of money and you deserve the credit. Our electric bill was like $400 to $700 bi-monthly. Now the most we pay is $40 to $100 from the power company in Glendale, California. $20 a month just to be connected to the grid. We have a 6 kilowatt system. Have a great week. Thanks, Kyle. Yeah, look at that. He's getting power from the sun. It's free.
He has generated over 16,000 kilowatt hours.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a lot.
Thank you, dude. All right, it's time for our Supercharger reviews, and these are sponsored by our friends at Evannex, the Tesla community's accessory store. If you're looking for awesome accessories for your Tesla, check out Evannex and use our discount code NowYouKnow to save you $10 on purchases over $100.
It's a beautiful day in the brand new Land O'Lakes Supercharger. This is an 8-stall supercharger. It's 1 mile from Highway 75 just north of Tampa. It's next to the Wawa station, and the Highway 54 has lots of things to do, restaurants, shopping, you name it. I think I would rate this probably 9 out of 10. Now you know.
Hello, Jack and Jesse. I'm here at the new Tilton, New Hampshire Supercharger station. It has 8 stalls, 7 normal one, and then a side one here. There are restaurants in this building. There's a Thai restaurant, there's a pizza place, there's a Dunkin' Donuts, and just a few feet away, there's the Tilton Diner, and also a Shell Market with a Subway in it. I rate this a 9 out of 10. Lots of places to eat. Very close to the highway, only just a few minutes away from 93 in either direction. So now you know.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. This is a supercharger report from Skellefteå in northern Sweden on the east coast, up by the E4, the highway that stretches up to Haparanda and all the way down to Spain. And what we have here is a 6-stall, 150 kilowatt version 2 supercharger. And I'm all alone here right now. It's winter here in Sweden. We have around a meter of snow here on the coast. And this is a gas station. Maybe some convenience as well. There's a restaurant, cafe, and a car wash facility. And this is just north of the city. And there we go. There's some snowmobiles filling up as well, of course. It's part of having winter here in Sweden. This is a good supercharger location, just north of the city, as I said. And I give it a 8 out of 10. And I hope more superchargers will be installed in the west of Sweden, in the middle of Sweden, and the west of Sweden, like towards the mountains and the inland. There are local chains as well. You see here, this is VFill. It's part of Skellefteå Kraft. This is they have, hydropower and so on. Thank you from Sweden. Now you know.
Hey, Zach and Jesse. Welcome back. Jessica Kirsch here. Hello world as well. I am coming to you from South Padre Island, Texas at the Tesla Supercharger here at the beach resort at South Padre Island. I am standing here with version 2 superchargers. There are 3 of them, up to 72 kilowatt hours. And then over here, there are 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 destination chargers. This supercharger is located a little off the beaten path. You have to specifically be coming over to South Padre Island in order to use these, but there are quite a few hotels, and the beach park, which is where I'm staying in my car right now, is down the way. So if you do have a Tesla, this is one of the main places that you would charge. So here I am, and I would probably give this charger a 6 out of 10. Only because of its location is out of the way, even if you are staying on the island. Also, the only amenities that are available are inside of this resort. I think there's a restaurant or something, maybe. Right now it's COVID, so not sure. But anyways, I just wanted to bring you this location, South Padre Island, Texas. Jessica Kirsch here, and now you know.
I love supercharger reviews.
I do too. I just sit there and get to enjoy all these different places in the world, and I want to visit them all.
And you can, because they're at superchargers.
All right, we got new superchargers in the world. What do we got?
We've got the 8-stall version 3 in Loomis, California.
Got the 8-stall version 3 in Clayton, New Mexico.
We got the
They're all version 3, so just skip that part.
Okay. We got the 8-stall in Leicester, UK.
We got the 8-stall in Yulee, Florida.
We got the 16-stall in Sunnyvale, South Bernardo Ave, California.
We got the 2-stall in Fujisawa City, Japan.
The 6-stall in D'Iberville, Mississippi.
Got the 8-stall in Pedricktown, Clara Barton, New Jersey.
The 12-stall, Grapevine, Texas.
The 12-stall in München Olympia Park, Germany.
The 8-stall at Colfax, North Carolina.
And the 16-stall in Beaver, Utah. Nice. That's a good number.
That's a lot
good number
of superchargers. There were a ton last week. They just keep making them every week. We've done the show every week. I think there's only been like 2 or 3 weeks where they didn't have any new superchargers.
I know. And then usually it comes back with a vengeance.
Whopping, yeah.
All right, it's time for the Patreon giveaway. If you want to win a $30 free gift card to EcoWare, you want to get your name into this barrel. And to do that, become a patron. And we'll put your name in there. The more you support us, the more times you get in there. Who's our winner this week?
Winner.
Oh, you're really digging deep this week.
Yeah. Louis Horvath.
Lewis, congratulations. You've got yourself an EcoWare gift card. Don't forget, we design and carbon offset everything. So, I mean, we design them with solar energy, we carbon offset them, and then we plant a tree, and then we cap a well. It's completely carbon negative. And all these people that are going by right now, these are important people. These are our patrons. These are the people that make the show possible. This is show, what, 240?
240.
In a row.
In a row.
In a row.
You can go back on the YouTube.
We are crazy.
Every week we have done a Tesla time news, and it's a lot of work. I will be honest. I'm surprised every week when the number goes up by 1. I go, what? Because last week it was 239. Now it's 240 weeks in a row. Yeah, it takes a long time to write this show. It takes a long time to record this show. I think that we started recording this show
in the morning, and it's now the afternoon.
It's now the afternoon.
Yeah.
Because we make mistakes, and there's lots of edits and fun stuff. Speaking of edits, there's we have a whole team of editors that have to edit the show because we recorded this yesterday.
And then overnight, they were 2 of them were editing it, and then 2 more of them come in and edit it in the morning to make sure that you get the show.
So that is what our patrons are for. And as we have gotten more Patreon support, we've been able to do more. So if I highly encourage you, head over to patreon.com/nowyouknow, support this channel. We try and come up with the best perks we could come up with. We've got lots of stuff. We've got book clubs. We've got the Investor Club.
And the Investor Club is important because we got a big announcement this week, and you can only hear about it if you're in the Investor Club, and it's only going to be up there for a few days. And
don't worry, you can sign up right now.
Yeah.
You can see the post. I'm so excited.
We've been working on it for a while.
For months we've been working on this. So I'm very excited about it. And we're going to see you next week, as we always do.
Now you know.